stream, and I just kind of wanted to jump on here and just talk about some stuff close to my heart. In life, we experience so many things. We experience happiness, we experience sadness, we experience an idea of joy in our life. It's just a natural thing of life, how we face that. And we take little mementos in life and we hold on to those mementos as much as we can, and we go forward with those mementos. And then we have, you know, death, which is a natural thing of life. We all have we have those moments, where we have a relative that passes away or a parent that passes away, and you have that mourning feeling. It's just you're in mourning. You have lost a loved one, and you can't see them again. You'll see them eventually. Because I believe when I die, when I walk through the gates of heaven, I will see my father again, my grandmother, my grandfather, and including my uncle. You know, it's everybody has their own opinion on their religions, and the thing is that it's okay to be to to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's not You're not less of a person if you do cry at a funeral. It's you know it's a sad emotion to cry. There's tears of sadness and tears of happiness. We all experience depression every day, and it's brought on by things that happen in our life where people throw darts at our souls, and we have to just, like Godzilla, just like use that energy to pop out all that insanity off of us and just keep on going and have that regenerator G1 inside of us, just to a positivity to pull ourselves out of the gutter and go forward, because you are a soldier. You are a monster of yourself. You are your own version of a champion. You know, I getting I watched recently I watched the video when I first got this, and I was so excited. I said I was going to carry it wherever I went. And sadly, I don't, because I I like carrying it, but I'm always scared of losing it. Like I feel like I have to leave it here at my house because I worked so hard to get this. And it has more of an emotional standpoint to it now because it represents my father. Also, it represents him. Why does it represent him? It represents the initiative that he gave me to do MTV's Made, gave me the approval to do MTV's Made, and the initiative to do Tosh.0. And the illusion, which I want to say, that was one of the biggest people that like helped my father let me do Taj. Was the if my dad had never watched, if he had never watched the Illusions video on Taj, I would have never gotten onto Taj. But because he watched the Illusions episode, my dad thought differently about Taj. And my episode, everybody says that my episode is one of the best episodes. And everybody tells me to this day that my episode of Made was one of the best episodes. The World Heavyweight MTV's Made Comedy Central's Championship of the World, and also representing my father. You know, I I have a letter that my father wrote to me, and I have it on my wall. And if you ever are in my apartment and you read this letter, if I bring it to you, and it takes me a lot to take it off the wall, honestly, because I just don't want to disturb it, because it's, from the day that after he passed, and I'm, I, I, I have cried a lot of times over him, even though he died in 2021. He passed away in 2021. You know, I have dealt with it a lot. I have slowed down on my content. I have slowed down on myself as a person. And I was healthy. And then when the pandemic hit, and his condition was decreasing, I kind of lost a little bit of myself and in that. And any person would expect that. And when I see this, it makes me think of my dad so much. I I don't want to talk negatively of my father, but the first time he saw this belt, my father was different. He was old fashioned, and he saw this as a waste of money, and he saw it as a waste of money. He held it once, and he just kind of shook his head and said, "Whatever, Tommy, whatever you like," and he just didn't really see the value in it. And he wasn't really exactly proud of this thing. He just saw it as me wasting my money on something else. But I saw it as something that I have worked on since I was on MTV's May. And I saw it as something that I worked on I saw it that I worked on something, and I know he didn't really see that, but I saw it. And when people say that it's not a real title, and that it's just fake. It's like it's fake. Like tape that you use for electricians. It hurts because this title represents me and represents my father and all the hard work he did in his life, and just and part and partially my YouTube career is to thank to one person that was there when I was down and wasn't like who I am today. That is my mom. She, we have our differences sometimes, but she's my main supporter in my life. I love my mom, and she is a soldier. As for my biological mother, I care about her as much as I love my mom. Even though she is biologically blood related to me, and she gave birth to me. I care as much as about my biological mother than as I do my mom that adopted me. And people say, she's your stepmom, and I'm like, no, she's my mom. She raised me. She took care of me. When I'm sick, she's the one that takes me to the doctor's office. And then when I need shoes, she's the one that drives me out to Asheville. You know, I just kind of, I she's the she's the main person, that got me started here on YouTube. That gave me the name Tommy NC 2010. And we've had our ups and downs with my YouTube career, and SWAT teams busting into my not busting into my house, but outside of my house, and people calling all times of the night, and just life. Life is a never-ending typhoon of insanity and fun. You could take it one way or you could take it another. We just have to keep strong and go forward, because we as people can grow, and we will lose. Eventually, one day, my mom will pass away. and that will be the hardest day for me. And I realize that. But for now, I enjoy every moment I have with her and my family. And I just kind of, and that's why, I mean, every Friday I go, we go out, we have breakfast, we walk, and we talk about all sorts of things together. And you know, she is she's my mom. And it's kind of like she is my rock. She is one of my biggest support systems, and I love her for that. She like I guess you could say your mom is your best friend, but your mom is still your parent, and they are number one when it comes to anybody else. And you have friends, but then you have your parents that are there for you all the time, and you kind of pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you go forward. And I'm going to put this back on the wall over here. I have a nail over here that I hang this up on the wall. Off topic, I don't know if you noticed this, but I bought this. I bought this Dante's Peak poster. This poster came out in 1997. I found it on Amazon for a decent. I found it on eBay for a decent price. It was sick, and it has another side. It has another side on it where it's just them running away from the pyroclastic flow. It's pretty sick. It just says Dante's Peak on the back of it, and I think it says coming soon. You know, but I kind of put this side up because this side's sick because it's just them, Pierce Brosnan, and the facing towards the pyroclastic, facing away from the pyroclastic explosion and the flow. But yeah, just wanted to show that. But I just wanted to come on here and just say that in life, there are moments of roughness and hardness, and you just have to get through it. You just have to go through it. And when I when my father passed away, it felt like I'm not a fan of the beach, but it felt like I was standing at the beach. I was fully dressed, and the water just came over me, and I was just sitting there sinking and sinking until I was like up to my stomach, as far as I would go. But that was still where the water was just over top of me, and it was just anger, sadness, depression, and just infuriated rage. I'll say something here now. Um, I had a personal thing that I had that I've really never said this, but I'll publicly say this. Everybody knows who Roman Reigns is. He's the technical head of the table. He is not my champion. He is not my universal undisputed champion. You know who my champion is, honestly, who I think is best for that position? Cody Rhodes. R R this. I know he was with the Bloodline, but he's separate. Get this. Sami Zayn. Yeah, Sami Zayn. We're gonna see him. He has so much heat right now that people love him. Sami Zayn will be your universal WWE champion of the world at some point. You'll see. You'll see. And April 1st, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I believe that Roman Reigns is going to lose. I want him to lose. Okay, here I go. I know that his real. I know that Roman Reigns' real name is Joe. I know that, and they say you should never wish bad things on people. When Roman Reigns announced that he had cancer and he had to drop the title and take treatments, it was really sad. But when Roman Reigns came back, I was like, oh, he got better. Um, then 2019 came, and we just been, just living our lives. My mom told me, she told me one of the biggest news that would change our lives forever. That my dad was diagnosed with advanced leukemia, and it was vicious. It's a vicious form of cancer. And I didn't realize how much of the scope this was, how bad it would be for my father. I watched my father turn from a man that was healthy to a man that looked like he could break his arm in 1 second if he just bumped into a wall. If he actually cut himself, he could bleed out and possibly pass away. Now, if you're sensitive to the stuff, I apologize. I, I just say, I'm saying this because I just wanted to, you know, um, it was hard watching him slowly, just rapidly fade away. And he fought every day to just do everything he could with us. And okay, I was angry that Roman Reigns survived cancer and my father died. I was like, why was it that Roman could beat cancer and my father couldn't? And it always made me angry. And I think that's one of the reasons why I dislike him so much, because he's alive and my father's dead. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like Roman Reigns. I know I shouldn't think that way, but it's how I feel. Every time I see him on the screen, I get angry, thinking that that man carries the title, walks on stage, makes millions of dollars every day. I know he has a family, and I know he has a real life. But when I see him, it just reminds me of my father not being here anymore, not being there for me, my mother, or my other family members. And it's hard. It's hard to think of that. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. And, you know, I, and you probably ask me, if I had a chance to meet Roman, would I take that chance? I don't know. It would be harder for me to meet him now because of the anger I have against him. And not just because, would I ever say to Roman Reigns, my father should be alive and you should be gone? No, I would never say that to him, honestly. I would just be like, I'm shaking your hand, but I don't like you. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like Roman Reigns, because that particular reason, that emotional breakdown reason. My father wasn't perfect. He had his moments. We were not always, me and my father were not always the best of friends. We butted heads. We yelled at each other. We had different opinions on how my life was. And he said it all in this letter up here above my head. And I would show it to you. I don't know if I've showed it before, but it is a strong letter and it will make you cry. And I appreciate every word that he typed out on here. And, I something I just want to share with you guys. I just, it's kind of, it's what it is, It's what it is. And you just have to be strong. You have to keep moving through life. You can't just give up. And I have to tell myself that sometimes. I have to say, Tommy, you can't give up. You just got to keep moving. Even though I just still am pulling myself out of the sand of emotion, depression, and every day it's harder and harder. And I have pulled myself out of that hole where I sank in after he passed. It's just getting off the beach is hard. I'm still making that tread to where I was where I was just pulled down by the water. And getting off the beach is the hardest part. Getting on land is the hardest part because that for me it's like walking upstairs and I hate stairs. I live in an apartment where I have to walk up 3 flights of stairs every day. And if I have to, and also have to carry groceries. Remember that, folks. I have to carry groceries up those stairs too, and it's hard. And I just something I want to say to people. People might think that I'm an idiot or a jerk. I do things for a specific reason, and if you lose my trust, or if I don't really trust you, that's why I step away from you. If that's one of the first things, if you break my trust, that is one of the biggest things I am strong on is trust. And I've had different friendships over the years come to an end because I didn't have trust for them. And that I'm just gonna say that. That's why I have, and a lot of them could tell you that I was a scumbag and I was manipulative, and I'm just me. I just tried to live life and just live life out loud. Remember to live life out loud. Remember to stay positive. Remember to smile and making it count. Well, I'm just trying to put myself emotionally back together. But as always, folks, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and I'm keeping you on the inside fact. Subscribe, support, stay positive. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you later, folks.